everybody. Welcome back. Another week. Posting this one a little late. Just had some things going on, and obviously we've had things going on because Chandler is not on the podcast today, as you all can see. So, want to welcome Barrett back to the podcast. I also want to welcome close friend to the pod, somebody that's been watching a lot, has been wanting to come on for a while. Close friend of mine since we were, as long as I can remember. Welcome to the pod, Cole O'Neill.
Heck yeah, welcome. Happy to be here, man. I've been keeping up with y'all since y'all first started it, man. I was
Oh yeah.
working on the ship in Europe, and I remember just like getting ready in the morning, just like turning on the pod, like listen to 10 minutes every day or something like that. So
hmm
been, long time, listener, so happy to finally make it on here.
Hell
Yes,
yeah, dude.
sir. Hell
We're
yeah.
happy to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you.
Heck yeah.
Happy to have you. Well, before we kick it off, and we're going to get right into it here in just a minute, because we got a lot to get to today. I've got a fan question. Also want to remind everybody that's watching to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, especially this fan question that I'm about to ask you. And that's it. So fan question this week is, if anyone actually wants to answer it, your favorite Atlanta Brave of all time. And I'll go ahead and say Chipper Jones is by far my favorite Atlanta
Mm,
Brave of all time.
I like that. I like
So I
that.
don't know if y'all have got anyone in mind, but if you want
I
to
mean,
give an
not
answer,
not really a big Braves fan, but I feel like everyone's got to say Chipper Jones. Like that's like the biggest name.
it's
You can't
true.
go
Yeah, he
wrong
is a
with the
legend.
classic.
Definitely,
He is a
definitely.
legend for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I would say more of like Freddie Freeman for me, to
It's
be
a good pick.
honest.
It's a
Yeah,
good
but
pick.
the way he kind of ended up leaving is also kind of bad. So
I
he's a
know.
bad taste in
I
your
know.
mouth. But same thing with like Julio. But obviously he left in a bad situation, but he's still an all-time Falcon no matter what.
For
Exactly.
sure. For sure.
And
Exactly.
at least Freddie stayed around to win a championship with us.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
100%. You got to
Yeah.
remember the times that they were here, not the time
Yeah.
that they left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
exactly.
For sure.
but all right, cool. Well, that being said, we'll go ahead and kick off trivia, and I'm gonna actually host trivia this week, and our two
Oh,
guests are gonna be facing off
Skyler's trivia.
against
No more
one
Chandler's
another.
trivia.
That's right. And
let's
I
go, Cole.
got it cooking for y'all this week. I got all football questions, so it's going to be college
Oh yeah.
specifically. Actually, even maybe a little easier for y'all. SEC college football and NFL, just kind of in general questions.
All right.
So it's going to work the same way it always does: easy, medium, hard. 1 point for easy, 2 points for medium, 3 points for hard, and then the same amount of guesses for each one: one, two, and three.
All right, let's do
So
it.
Cole, first time on the pod. We always let the first timers kick it off. So, what do you want to start with? Easy, medium, or hard?
Let's start off with a medium. Let's go in between and just see. Let's go from there.
Get
All
our feet
right,
wet.
a little medium here for you. Which current SEC team has won the most SEC championships?
It's got to be Alabama. I feel
Yeah,
like. Yeah,
Alabama. I
no
swear.
doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You're both going
that
with
was.
Alabama.
Yeah.
It is
I don't
not.
know.
It is
Not.
not
Yeah.
No,
Alabama.
that's the thing, because
Oh,
like initially you'd think it'd be Alabama.
yeah, exactly. That was a trick
That's why I
question.
made it a
We
That was
medium.
a trick question.
So you both get one more guess to who has won the most SEC championships.
Damn, I don't even know where to go.
I
I would
was
say like
I
Tennessee
was
probably. I'll
somewhat
go Tennessee.
surprised. Okay, Barrett, you got an answer?
Uh, you said Tennessee. Uh, I don't. I'll real. I don't know. Florida.
The correct answer is Florida.
Oh, damn.
Florida
Oh,
is
Yeah.
the correct
let's
answer.
go.
I
Let's
didn't
go.
didn't I didn't want to give the Gators a respect. I don't think they're that good. So
I hear you. You just got to remember they had like a mini dynasty with Urban and Tebow
that is
uh,
very true.
in
That
that
is very
era.
true. Yeah.
So, that's kind of what made it like not as surprising for me because I think their other successes were kind of like earlier, like before we were really like
Yeah,
old enough to realize what was going on and also
for
before
sure.
we were born. But yeah, Florida was the answer.
What a
So
pull. What a pull. What a pull.
nice, nice, Barrett.
That's a good answer.
Okay, so that's two to Barrett. All right, Barrett. What's your next choice?
I
Easy,
mean,
medium, or hard?
let's keep the ball rolling. Let me get another right. So let's go easy.
Easy.
I
All
like
right.
I like having the hot hand.
Easy. We'll
We'll
do
keep that ball rolling. We'll see.
We'll do the NFL
Yeah, we'll
easy.
see.
We'll do the NFL easy this time.
Oh,
All right.
goodness.
All right. Who is the all-time leader in the NFL for career return touchdowns? You only get one guess here, so make sure it's the right one.
Baron, you
I'll
want to guess
say,
first?
I'll say Devin Hester.
It's
Cole.
Cordell.
It
Cordell Patterson.
is actually, it is Cordero. I had Devin
That's right,
Hester
because he
down,
broke.
but this trivia website was old and he just broke the record. Was it
That's
last
right,
year or
I
the year
remember that.
before? Yeah,
I remember that because he returned one for
No.
Atlanta. They're like, yeah, he broke the record. I was like, no way, that's crazy. I didn't know he returned that many, but yeah, it's definitely.
I just remembered that on the spot. So this trivia must have been from prior to that
Yeah.
record being broken.
No
Yeah,
But
way.
Devin Hester's a good answer too.
He had it. He had it
Ah,
at 20.
Devin
Devin
Hester was
Hester
the-
had it
Yeah.
at 20.
Devin
but yeah.
Hester was the answer for about 5 minutes or about a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
That switched up real quick.
Yeah.
Cole got it.
All
All
right.
right. Next one, Cole, your choice. Easy, medium, or hard. You got
Guess we'll do a hard. Let's jump up to a hard.
All right. Hard it is. The last team not named LSU, Auburn, or Alabama to win the SEC West was what team? You get 3 guesses here, actually. So
What were
surely.
the teams you just named? LSU, Auburn, and Alabama?
You know what? This is a hard, and it's only half a division, so we're knocking it down to 2 guesses if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll repeat the question, Barrett. The last team not named LSU, Auburn, or Alabama to win the SEC West was what team?
I mean,
I think I know the answer to this one because I remember watching the SEC championship. I'm like, why is this team even in here? And I'm gonna go with Missouri.
Okay, Barrett.
I was gonna say Tennessee, but
That's the East.
Well, I will tell
That's-
you that both of those actually are Eastern teams. So
oh,
you got
Oh
one more
shit,
guess?
that's right. Okay, because but it was Florida and Missouri that played that one game, was it not? Were they not?
Missouri played. Who did they play? I feel like they played.
Maybe they played Alabama. Okay,
feel like
maybe
they
I was
played
wrong. All right, maybe we're both dumb,
Auburn.
Barrett.
I feel like it was Auburn or Alabama. Yeah.
All right,
but-
so my next guess would be Ole Miss then. 'Cause I know
Okay.
they're a West team. They're always pretty good, and they used to sneak in and beat Alabama every now and then. So
Yep. Okay, Barrett. I know Cole knows the teams in the West, so do you want me to list them for you real quick, or you got it?
yeah. I mean, I've got them pulled up right here.
Alright.
I'll say Ole Miss.
Okay, both of those answers, which are the same answer, I guess, are incorrect. It was
Oh,
actually
I thought. Oh wait, I thought Cole
Arkansas.
said Mississippi.
no, I said
okay.
Ole Miss.
He said Ole
Is it
Miss. It's Arkansas, actually.
Dude, you would never think it's Arkansas.
Yeah,
Never.
Arkansas. Does anyone want to try to guess what year that Arkansas represented the SEC West?
I mean,
It was not that long ago. I'll tell you that.
Was
In the
Darren
90s,
McFadden on that
probably.
team? I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably so. That year.
think so.
I don't know. Off the top
He-
of my head, I don't remember what year that was, but I
He
knew
was
on
either on that team or like had just left. It was 2006. So
that. Oh,
oh,
damn, that's a long time too.
yeah, I mean it's a
Yeah.
long time, but it's like not like
But
1980s or 90s.
That's
I
funny
thought
to
it was
think.
gonna be like late '90s.
Yeah, no, it's funny to think that Ole Miss hasn't won a Western Conference in that long too, especially how good they've been lately, and previously too with what Bo Kelly was that his name? I don't know. They had some good quarterbacks, but you think they'd be
Yeah.
up there.
What
Yeah.
was dude?
Is
I know
Missouri-
who you're
Missouri's-
talking about. It
Oh,
might have been
Swag
Bo-
Kelly. It was the money guy.
Yeah.
I want to say Chip Kelly,
Oh.
but that's the head coach name. So
Yeah.
yeah, not him.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. Next one. Barrett. You've got one of each left.
We'll rip a medium because let's just keep this little rotation we got. I got it right, so
All right. You get
we'll take a 2.
two guesses here. And it's
Mhm.
you still got one question correct so far. Top 4 NFL leaders in career passing in order are Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre. Who's number 5? You get 2 guesses.
Is he an old player?
He played in our lifetime. He played in our lifetime.
In
A
our
lot.
lifetime.
A lot of our lifetime.
Okay, so a lot. Oh man.
That's the hint I'll give you. Played
All
a lot
right.
of our lifetime. You get 2 guesses.
So it would be the number 6 passing career.
Number
Leader?
5.
Fifth.
Number
Number
5.
five.
Number 5.
Yeah.
And wait, so you said Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Drew Brees, and
Peyton
then
Manning. Peyton
Okay.
Manning. That's the top 4.
Oh, there's just
Good.
been so many good quarterbacks lately too. It's insane how like these records just keep getting broken. I really want to say Dan Marino, but I don't. He didn't play.
I
No, I feel like 'cause
I
he
have
was-
my first
he could
guess.
sling it.
He led the league for a while in
Yeah.
passing yards before
Yeah,
this.
but I feel like it's someone who's
generation.
like played recently that have retired and stuff like that.
I'll say for my guess, I'll say Eli Manning.
Okay. Cole, do you have a first guess you want to throw out?
I just can't really think of one. I said Dan Marino, but I know he didn't play during that time. So
Yeah. I mean, you could always submit. I mean, you didn't really like submit that as an answer because you kind of explained why it wasn't. So if you want to throw out,
I'd say
another-
Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's kind of approaching that record. You know,
That's a
he's been in
good
the league for a
guess.
long time. So I'd say Matt Stafford.
2 very solid guesses, but not the guy. Not the guy. I can give
we
you
got one more.
I can give you one more hint. It might give it away, but I can give you one more hint. Since
Don't
is
give
a
it away.
medium. I don't know if it will give it away.
All right,
I'll take the
we'll
hint.
see.
It might.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take
see.
it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure. Don't fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure this quarterback was the youngest quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Oh, Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, that did give it away.
Yeah, it did give it-
That
that
did
did
give it away.
Yeah.
It is Ben
It's all right.
Roethlisberger.
It's all right.
Barrett,
Well, how about this? You leave it at 1 point. That's 2-2 right now. So
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good with me.
that's half a point
Cool.
since I got a pretty helpful tip.
Yeah,
I was like, if you know it, it's immediately going to give it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Sure.
if you don't, it's no help at all. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. So we've got
sure.
what, 1 easy and 1 hard left. So
Mhm.
Cole.
So we do easy and save hard for last.
All right, we will save the hard for last.
Come
The other
on, I
easy.
can just get the first question, and not none of them. Come on.
The last time the SEC championship was played between the number 1 and number 2 team in the country, which 2 teams were in that SEC championship?
Oh,
This isn't easy. Think about it that way.
you said it is easy? Okay.
It might not be the first thing that comes to mind, but it is easy.
Georgia, Alabama.
Okay, Barrett.
I was thinking about that.
I mean, you can submit that as your guess, too.
I mean, knowing you, it being an easy, I feel like that's got to be the answer. But
So you're rolling with Georgia, Bama too, or no?
it was no hint on an easy, right?
Mm.
No.
I mean, I could tell you the year. Well, no, that would give it away.
Well,
100%.
after Cole,
If it's
Cole
not Georgia,
guessed-
Bama, it's definitely like Florida, Bama. So just, I mean, I guess I just gave away another answer, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Derek?
gonna go Georgia, Alabama. I'm gonna go Georgia, Alabama.
Cole's second answer that did not count was the correct answer. It was
Yeah.
Florida, Bama in 2009. I believe Alabama was number 3. Though.
yeah, because you were talking about the TiVo years earlier. I was like, definitely, that's got to be it. But you
Yeah.
would think it'd be, number 1 Georgia versus number 2 Alabama, especially the recent, games they've had.
Recent.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I was.
Yeah, but Alabama's dropped one every, to some team every now and then too.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
it's always either they're not number 2 or we're not number 2. One of them is always number 1, it feels
Yeah.
like. But then the other
Yeah.
one's like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Well, the rankings are
5.
stupid too. It's like when we played Tennessee, we were 2 and they were number 1. Not this
Yeah.
past year, but the year before, and that was some bullshit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I feel like they always want to just throw like Ohio State or something in that top 2 for some reason. They always do. Never want to give it to the SEC.
Yep. Yeah.
right.
All right. Well, boys, we've only got the hard left, and considering that I don't think either of you are going to get this, I might have to come up with a tiebreaker on the fly. But maybe one of you will surprise
All right, this is
yourselves
for
here.
all the marbles.
You get 3 guesses, and I can give you a hint on this
Yep.
one too. Okay. The only NFL team to start 0-4 and still make the playoffs was who?
Was it recent?
Not really.
I would say the Packers.
Not
I think
really.
the Packers had a bad run with Aaron Rodgers, and they end
Okay.
up coming back and actually making the playoffs surprisingly.
Okay. Barrett, you have a
Okay.
guess?
I mean, I'm probably gonna have to shoot in the dark for this, but we'll say Panthers. I don't know.
It is neither of those teams. I will give you your first hint here.
Thank
This
you.
team is an AFC team,
Okay.
and it is specifically a Western AFC team.
A Western AFC team. All right. I'm thinking. I feel like if I just say some team, you'd say like 49ers, but obviously, they're an NFC team, so it's not just generally any team in the West. So,
Right.
let's see. The Broncos. Let's go with Broncos.
Okay. Barrett.
I like that Broncos picks. I'll say the Chargers.
It is the San Diego Chargers.
Oh.
Barrett.
Oh, what a fool!
What a fool indeed.
That was
Came
I
back.
don't
Shot in
I
the
can't
dark.
tell you who was on the team. I can't tell you anything.
That would have been my next guess, too.
Is it? Okay, Cole. I will still make a tiebreaker question if you can somehow pull out of your ass what year the San Diego Chargers did this.
Oh,
Oh man, I feel like this a long time ago.
I'll give you a time period. 1980 to 2010.
okay.
1980 to 2010. I mean, so what year it was?
It was in
Mhm.
somewhere in those years. Yeah. Try to
Okay.
guess what year.
If you pull this, Cole, I swear.
Let's say 07. That sounds like a fun year.
It was 1992.
Oh, dude, it's so close.
So you were right there.
You were right on the edge.
Hey,
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
a decade off.
maybe, I don't know. Maybe this was a little bit tougher than I thought it was.
Maybe I just suck at trivia. I should just know more about sports. But yeah,
No,
those
man.
are all good questions.
Yeah, no, that was a solid trivia.
No,
Yeah,
and I
that's
mean,
solid.
technically, too, Cole, I mean, it's not your fault that I gave the easy hint. So you technically did not score a 2. I marked you out and put a 3 because that's what you really
got the
got.
last one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
so
would have been spicy too.
y'all's
Right at the
y'all's
end.
real scores were 4-3. So
4-3.
All right.
it was a good trivia
good
matchup.
match. Yeah,
All right.
it's a good match. You were just quicker than me on that Ben Roethlisberger hint.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
It just is what it is.
Yeah, I guess I owe you a drink or something when we get back, Barrett. Who knows? Next time I see you.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Quickly, Barrett, congratulations on your new career high in trivia. Beat your score of 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll take that. We'll take
Attaboy.
that. That's big.
Hey,
I feel like
go
today's
up.
I feel like the topics for today were perfect for me and Cole having. That's our.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, if you've asked any type of other sport question to me, I would just say you're blank. I don't know. I'd probably say like Airbud or something for half the answers.
Yeah, I thought about doing an NBA.
Airbud?
Airbud.
The only thing I know.
Oh God.
I was thinking about doing like an NBA question for like a medium or a hard, but I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would just have to make it like such an obvious one because y'all just aren't. I mean, y'all aren't NBA guys.
Yeah.
Like
No.
you know a little bit about the sport, obviously, but
Yeah.
like
When I played 2K, I know some of the players. I feel like
Yeah, that's about
that's
all
knowledge
my
of the
knowledge.
league, man. That's
Exactly.
knowledge of the league. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you get it.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
so,
why I like.
Go ahead.
I was about to say that's like with those, it's like you can just maybe like every once in a while, being Cole could like pull something like random out of that from playing the game or something like
Yeah.
that Zach Randolph pick from last episode.
You did, yeah, you got that. You did get that.
But it's just from 2K.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and move on now, and we got something that I'm excited for. We're gonna let our guest Cole actually lead us on a topic. So we're gonna discuss some NFL rookies, I guess. Now I wrote prospects in the notes, but I guess they're not really prospects anymore. They are officially rookies now. So we're gonna be talking about the draft a little bit, just kind of going through some notable picks and our opinions and thoughts on them. So Cole. You want to go
Thank
ahead
you. Yeah,
and
well, I
get us right
wrote
into
down
it?
a bunch of stuff. We got some players to go through. If I start talking too much, let me know. But we'll start this off because I would love
Mhm.
to get your guys' opinion on this because I mean this draft, especially for Falcons fans, it was a doozy of a one for us.
Oh god.
Michael
Oh
Penix,
god.
Michael Penix was an insane pick. No one saw that coming. I'm sitting there watching it. They start talking about it. I'm like, they can't be serious talking about taking this guy. This is insane, especially after coming in, and putting all the chips on the table, saying, "Hey, we're gonna get Kirk Cousins. We're gonna sign for 3 years. We're gonna win now." Period. So why do you say you want to win now and you come back and end up drafting, a quarterback with the number 8 pick? It's a really high value pick. You try to draft someone that seems worth it to help you out now. So it is a different direction to take. So
Very different.
what are your guys' thoughts on it? Because I mean, for me, in the end, it is cool after watching, especially Mariota and Ritter to play the past 2 seasons. It's understandable that you want to have a good quarterback. Yes, it sucks. It doesn't help now, but I mean, 10 years down the road, if Michael Penix is playing like an absolute animal, no one's gonna come back to this draft and be like, oh, that was still a terrible pick. So
Yeah.
typically, it kind of
Uh,
works out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I personally, I'm right there with you on that. Kind of like at the time, it was like a whoa, like what did we just do kind of pick. But then, like, when you really think about it deeper, it's like, I get it because we haven't had anything since Matt Ryan. So, like, I'd rather you double down on it like that than get what we've had the last few years at quarterback. So I do like the pick, or no, I do like the player a lot. I like Michael Penix. I watched a good bit of Washington football. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's the most NFL ready quarterback in this draft. Um, that's just my opinion, which at the same time kind of makes it like another what the hell moment because he's 25 years old. So like by the time he does start, if Kirk plays well, he will be 28, 29 years old. Now, last thing I'll say, there is also a possibility that Kirk falls off the cliff and we might need Penix as soon as next year because he's 35 years old, coming off injury. We're not 100% sold on Kirk. So I don't know. It's tough for me, but you kind of worded exactly how I feel about it, Cole. So, Jared, I
yeah.
don't
Yeah,
know about
yeah, it's
you.
true. I mean, especially for Kirk, I think he has like an 0-8 record on Monday and Thursday night football games.
Prime
As
Mhm.
time.
good as
Yep.
he is, there's a situation where he's not the guy. So
Yeah.
it's good to have an insurance plan because I couldn't go through another 2 seasons of throwing just whoever out there. So
I think I got a few things to say on this topic, but first I want to talk about your comment in the fantasy group chat right after we drafted him. I think it was something along the lines of "You can suck my penix."
yeah, no, big Phoenix energy or something like that. It's a great last name.
Oh yeah.
But the lefty slinger, I don't a long term, by I guess long term, I mean, like you were saying, the first round, eighth pick, you want somebody that's going to come and show up and dominate now. But I long term, I would say for this situation, maybe 4 or 5 years, when Kirk's retiring, I like him being able to get behind and learn from Kirk because that's a guy with experience.
Mm.
That's probably my favorite part about that pick. But like you said, I mean, you want somebody that's going to show up and perform, so you don't know for sure. I It's questionable pick. I mean, I feel like everybody else does about it. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, I mean the
you know,
general draft grade,
mhm.
consistency is it's solid F. They said that's the worst first pick, the first round for the longest time ever. It's crazy to see something like that happen, especially. But you go
Yeah,
back and you look at the top 3 edge rushers, who technically we should have drafted. You
yeah,
have the Latu guy, you have
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, that's right, and then Jared Verse. But none of those
Yep.
Jed
guys
Verse,
all
yeah,
jump off the table, right? So like even like say you throw in Jalen Carter this year, I think the Falcons was stuck at 8 and picked Jalen Carter. But none of those three guys we just mentioned really come off and pop off the tape. No, all of them you could have drafted one either any of those spots and everyone would have been happy, but they don't all they're not great picks, basically I'm saying.
They could be Vic Beasley, Tech McKinley's.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. I mean, there were drafts where I wanted Taven Bryan, a defense tackle from Florida, out of the league. Terrible. Charles Harris, a DN from Missouri. Terrible. Javon Kinlaw, still a D tackle for the 49ers. Not even good. Sometimes these guys just don't work out, And then, especially like years we drafted.
I kind of beg to differ on that.
Go ahead, Barrett.
I was about to say, I kind of beg to differ on that Jared Verse comment. I feel like his draft stock was a lot higher last year in his junior year, and then it kind of fell a little bit this year. But I feel like I have him written as underrated, to be honest. On my, I believe he's a great pass rusher.
Yeah. So from the film or from what I've heard, he's just a pure power rusher, player like that. Mm-hmm. But sure. I do have this written in my notes. We'll talk about him for a minute, or especially what the Rams did with their first 2 picks. They got Jared Verse, which is great, and something Fisk. It was a D tackle. They played with each other.
Brandon.
There. So what was his name?
Brandon.
I got here in my notes. Was it
Turner?
Brandon Fisk. What's up, Turner? It's all Turner time.
Turner. First appearance on the pod.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get the boys in the back. All right. He's gonna start strumming.
Where's Chandler? He's
unavailable.
Not today. All right, back to what I was saying though. Good to see Turner and his friend there though. Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk was his name. So the guy, he's another D tackle from Florida State. They played right next to each other. Super athletic. Just had some really good athleticism. You just lost Aaron Donald. Not at all comparing this guy to Aaron Donald, but here you come to a Rams situation where you had Byron Young, Colby Turner, who was a really underrated rookie last year. Now you go out and get 2 really good defensive prospects to shore up that defensive line for the Rams. So it'll be exciting to see what they can continue to do on defense, especially after losing an all-time great such as Aaron Donald.
I know, that's the truth.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. I think that's really intriguing, and I mean, like you said, not necessarily a replacement for Aaron Donald, but can he potentially do some of the things Aaron Donald did? Yeah, 100%. And the way that defensive line rotations work nowadays, I mean, that's really all you need out of your D-line is a guy that can do some of the things and then another guy that can do the other things.
Exactly. So I think they're going to continue to have great success along that D-line, especially with these 2 draft picks here. So we'll see how they do this season. Another thing we talk about here are the first 3 draft picks, actually. So they're all 3 quarterbacks. Obviously, we got Caleb Williams, who goes to a great situation in Chicago. You have Jaden Daniels, who I think goes to a good situation with the Commanders, who haven't been really good offensively lately, but they just got a new head coach in Dan Quinn, and their offensive coordinator being what's his name? He was a head coach at the Cardinals for a while. I'm trying to think.
Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury. That's right. He's he's coached Kyler. He's coached Johnny Manziel. He's been there for Baker's years. And then we have Drake Maye. So, just out of those 3 guys, what would be some of y'all's expectations for those?
Barrett, you want to start it off?
I want to comment on the Rams draft. As you were just talking about their defense, and I want to talk about how their ability to be recruiting and making the right picks, like them just recently drafting Puka Nacua not too long ago, and you see how he was able to show out in the spotlight. I just wanted to mention how solid Rams recruiting has been in recent history. But Skilly, you can speak a little bit more on Cole's topic since I wasn't listening.
So we can talk about Caleb Williams and the situation he's going to. That's insane, especially to get rid of Justin Fields like that. And Justin Fields really didn't have the opportunity that Caleb Williams is now being given in Chicago. I mean, you have, I think, a great receiving core. Keenan Allen's on the older side, but he's always been a dog. DJ Moore is great as well, and now you got Rome Odunze. Not only that, you have Cole Kmet and now DeAndre Swift.
Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, that offense is just give it to me. Like, you're the number 1 pick. This guy's gonna come in right away. Like, what honestly would be his expectations? What do you guys expect for someone like that?
Man, I mean, I feel like it's hard for him not to succeed, as much as I don't like to say that, because I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. Exactly. The mental aspect of it. I I just don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he approaches things. But I mean, he's obviously an undeniable talent on the field. He went number one for a
Absolutely.
reason. Now, do I think he's going to be Patrick Mahomes like a lot of people do? I do not.
No.
I think he's going to be a 7 to 10 guy rather than a 1 to 5 guy. But that's just my opinion. And obviously, that's not bad. I mean, I still think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in the league one day, but I don't know if he'll ever breach top five. He'll show us this year, and then I'll have to see what he's doing. Because if he doesn't have much success, even if he is a rookie, I mean, has a rookie ever come in with this much talent as far as weapons? And I know their offensive line isn't great, so
No.
that'll play a factor. But man, dude, I mean, you can't give a rookie better weapons than what he has right now.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. He's
Yeah.
walking into a great situation. Unlike we have Drake May, who's now walking into a pitiful offense last year, especially. I mean, you have Mac Jones, Bailey Zapp, guys that really
Oh,
can't get the
God.
job done. And honestly, who'd they even have weapons at the time too? So, for someone like that, especially with accuracy issues too.
Awful.
I mean, I think like his overall accuracy issue was like in the 50s or something like that. He makes a lot of bad throws, bad
Yeah.
accuracy problems. But I mean, the guy's an absolute athlete. They said he had probably one of the strongest arms in the draft, if not a little bit stronger than Michael Penix's maybe.
Yeah.
It's just a really tough situation for him to walk into the Patriots. You think they should have traded back, got more, trade assets, stuff like that, more picks somewhere to come back and build their team around. But not
Yeah.
only did they do that, they came and drafted two wide receivers. They drafted Jalen McMillan, the second wide receiver out of Washington, and they went and
Yep.
drafted the number one out of UCF. His name's Javon Baker, and pretty funny quote from him. He says he's so exciting that he makes people in wheelchairs stand up. So,
Huh. Right? That is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. So, I mean,
I do want to comment on the Caleb Williams pick. His play style reminds me similar to Bryce Young. Kind of elusive, but can definitely sling it for sure. I obviously you can't really relate because the situation that Bryce Young came into was god awful, and I think like Skylar just said, how often do you see a rookie coming in with weapons like that? And his confidence right now is at an all-time high. I'm actually kind of excited. Like Skylar just said, I'm not that big of a fan of him either, but it's hard for me to cheer for a guy from USC whenever I'm all the way on the opposite side of the country. But I'm excited to see what kind of potential he has, especially like I just said, with his confidence being so high. I mean, he's got to be able to succeed in some fashion for sure.
do you think he throws under or over 3,500 yards this season?
I mean, I could see him throwing over. If he stays healthy for 17 games, I think he's probably in the 4,000, 40.
That's a lot. That's a great quarterback year from any
Range.
quarterback. So I mean, that's something you expect from a number one pick, especially. So
Well, I was going to say I could also see him being 4,000 yards, but 22 touchdowns, 25 interceptions, or
and I was about to say,
I think that's very realistic.
18 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Like not. I think he'll get a lot of yardage just from having those weapons, but I mean, I don't know how well they're going to be able to finish in the red zone. You just can never really tell until you see a guy actually play in the NFL how well they're going to finish in the red zone.
You never know. I mean, Jamarcus Russell was the number 2 pick or number 1. I think number 1. And look at him. He was terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is like he will have a great stat line, but however, I think turnovers, the interceptions are going to be way up there. I feel like that is one of the biggest things that differ between NFL and college. Is like that deep ball in college, I swear it is like you'll see wide receivers like butt naked, like wide open, but in the NFL, you never see
rare.
that. Like
very rare.
Their defensive schemes for DBs is so complex, and they've got it going to where they got it covered. They got the whole field covered.
The only way
receivers
run as open in the NFL as they do in college sometimes like that is a busted coverage. Like that's literally the only situation where that happens because NFL DBs are just too damn good to let that happen.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you mentioned butt naked wide receivers because there was a game this past year for the Broncos where Russell Wilson, they're sitting right there at the goal line, and I don't know what receiver it was, but he's pitching a fit like I'm wide open. Please throw me the ball. So now you see, cool too, that 6 first-round quarterbacks went in the first round of the draft this year. That's a record, ties the record.
Yeah.
So we see, Bo Nix go to the Broncos. I mean, expectations for him, that's kind of crazy considering, we're all Georgia fans. We all watched him play in the SEC. But you come out of college, you started the most games out of anyone in their college football career. So it's really crazy to see something like that. So he has maturity, he's definitely developed a whole lot more. And not only that, I think he walked into a really good situation, especially with Sean Payton as a head coach, because back when he was with the Saints with Drew Brees, it's all short passes, short passes.
Yeah.
What did he do this season? A lot of his throws are below the 10-yard line mark. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a guy that fits that scheme and you think that's it, I think that's a pretty good fit for it, surprisingly.
Yeah, I feel like Sean Payton has had experience in developing a great quarterback for sure, and he's definitely, based on play call, responsible for a lack of turnovers for sure. And I mean, you see that with, like you just said, Drew Brees, Demaryius Thomas. I mean, just underneath, tossing it, drag routes. Like what did Demaryius Thomas have, like the most receptions in the NFL for like 2-3 years in a row, something like that?
Something like that.
I mean,
I
he
think
was
it was
up
pretty
there
good.
for sure. He was up there for sure.
He's definitely good. But I'm not at all saying that Bo Nix is a Drew Brees type of player.
No.
You grab someone like that, I like to see how he can do, because he did turn his career around a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how he keeps developing.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick on Bo Nix, for me, I do not like this guy whatsoever. I've been the biggest hater forever, but there is one positive I will say. I'll agree with Cole on the scheme. You could not have drawn it up better for Bo Nix, because this dude, don't even get me started on him throwing down the field. But when it's covered, he can hit open receivers. I mean, I'll give him that. But when it's covered, don't get me started. But anyways, he's very, very low turnover. Very low turnover. He might miss guys, but he's not throwing a lot of interceptions. He might make a boneheaded play, but it very rarely ends up in a turnover, which is perfect again for that West Coast scheme where you're just dinking and dunking down the field. I mean, that's what before Tom Brady was throwing bombs to Randy Moss, that's who he was. And I'm not saying obviously that Bo Nix, I hate this guy. He'll never be Tom Brady, but I'm just saying it can happen from guys that aren't that talented when they first start.
That's right, especially for this past season to have the high completion percentage he did. I think he had 72%, was the highest in all of college football. And you go and look at his touchdown to interception ratio, and it's 45-3. It's insane.
It's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, very impressive. So definitely goes to a good situation. Yeah. We'll flip the switch on some quarterbacks here. We'll talk about some receivers. Obviously, it's fun to talk about Marvin Harrison, generational prospect, if you ask me. He goes number overall to the Cardinals. And I think he definitely steps into a pretty good situation there. Kyler really started to come back towards the end of the season. I can't remember the stat line I was seeing, but before, when he was injured, they were bottom tier offense, and he got back. They jumped up top 15. So I didn't know that, actually. So it's interesting to see what they can do this season, back with a true number one receiver, kind of like when the Cardinals had, Nook, DeAndre Hopkins, and they went 8-0. They won an 8-0 run. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of season he can have.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about MHJ and about his move to the Cardinals, and we did talk about it a little bit in the last episode, talking about his current situation at QB. Hopefully, Kyler comes back to his full potential, because I know for sure that Colt McCoy is not getting it done in the NFL. He's one of those first-round picks that we were talking about earlier that was a complete bust. He's ass. That is proven.
Is he still their backup going into next year?
Yeah, he is their backup.
That's rough.
Was Josh Dobbs?
Exactly.
Did Josh Dobbs play there at the beginning of the season? Did he not?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did. I don't know.
Alopecia man.
The rocket scientist.
Yeah, works at NASA with the biggest forehead in the world.
Alien man.
Oh god.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the quarterback situation is what scares me about that. But hopefully, if Kyler comes back to his full potential, which I'm praying he does, he's on my fantasy team. If he doesn't, that's gonna hurt my team pretty bad. But we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah, Kyler's an awesome quarterback. I think he can definitely rebound from his injury. Like I said, towards the end of the season, they were back up there in offense. Considering they even
Mhm.
had like no weapons, I couldn't name one receiver, on that team at that point in time.
They had
So
Marquise Brown, I think.
oh yeah, they had Marquise
Uh,
Brown. So, yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
I actually like I think he was a late round pick for them last year, or like mid round maybe. Michael Wilson out of Stanford is
yeah.
actually
I remember
pretty
hearing
good.
some name like that. Yeah,
He's no number one, but I think he could develop into a solid number two, and possibly even if he develops perfectly into a number one. I mean, he's got the tools. He just needs to stay healthy and grow each year.
exactly.
At one point in
Speaking,
time, I was seeing a lot of potential in Rondell Moore, but I think his stock has kind of fell
He got
versus.
traded too, didn't he?
to the
Oh, he did.
To the
Falcons,
He did.
the
Falcons. Yeah,
Falcons.
he's
Oh,
on
he's
the
Yeah.
on the
Falcons.
Falcons
Yeah,
now.
that's
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, he's a
okay.
Falcon.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
straight
Bet,
up Desmond Ritter
bet.
for Rondell Moore.
yeah,
Straight up trade. That was pretty
yeah, that's
crazy.
right. That's right. I
Yeah.
remember now.
Get
Yeah.
rid of Ritter.
Yeah.
Get rid of Ritter.
Speaking of another team that doesn't really have any weapons, they finally went out and got a true number one receiver, Malik Neighbors. So
Hmm.
that'll be exciting to see what Daniel Jones, how he can develop with an actual number one wide receiver there now. Malik Neighbors had way better stats than Marvin Harrison this past season, and I think he should have been the blinked off winner, which is the best wide receiver in college football. So it'll be fun to watch him play for the Giants, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think the Giants nailed this pick. I think he was
for
best
sure.
player available when they picked him, and obviously best wide receiver available when they picked him. So I
Mm.
nailed it. No matter what they have around him, he's going to be a solid piece for the future as long as they don't Giants their way out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly,
I
they
mean,
they might they
he,
might have the first round pick next year. Actually, no, they're not. People are saying they're not going to be that good. So that's something we can talk about later, though.
Yeah.
yeah, he's
Derek,
gonna
you
be
have
dirty in the
anything to say about
slot.
Malik? Hmm?
Yeah, he's just gonna be dirty in the slot. That's what I
Oh,
was gonna say.
I'll
I
tell you,
mean,
Barrett,
his
for our fantasy league, I don't remember the name. It's going to be Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors back to back pick since I have the first and second round pick in that draft. And thanks for
of course it
Skylar. That
is,
Skylar's
Cole.
old team got me set up with some good picks. So yeah, it's great. It's great. Well, I
Yeah.
am thinking about Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers would be a great, fun player to pick up. That is, if he went to the right situation. Going to the Raiders, already to a situation where you have Michael Mayer, who was a second round pick last year. You got Devontae Adams. You got Jacoby Myers. Who's throwing the ball? Gardner Minshew. I love Gardner Minshew. Don't get me wrong. And then Aiden O'Connell, who's not a bad quarterback. He beat
Yeah.
Tennessee in a bowl game 2 years prior, which I thought was pretty awesome.
It's impressive.
So, yeah, Brock Bowers, absolute beast, man. Hope everything the best for him. I really hope he works out the
Absolutely.
Raiders. But tight ends are so weird in the NFL. Like they don't ever just come out, ripping off the ball.
Mhm.
It's a developmental type of thing for a position like that. So I really hope he can just come out, the ball rolling and just be an absolute animal for the NFL for years to come.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was about to say if there is a tight end that can come out and get the ball rolling immediately, it's Brock Bowers. I mean, he looks like he's a fully developed tight end in college. Like he looks like he is an NFL tight end playing in the wrong league in college. So
That's
I'm
right.
excited to see, like you said, Gardner Minshew though.
It's
Is
gonna be tough.
is it
Oh.
maybe this isn't the right audience considering we're all diehard Georgia fans to be asking this question, but if you're watching, maybe answer this in the comments. Is it a hot take to say that Brock Bowers was the number one overall player in this draft?
Mm, certainly,
I
certainly
I
number two.
think he was the best player in the draft.
Yeah, no, definitely top five talent without a doubt in my mind. It's just like I said, tight end's a tough position, especially for someone like him, 6'3", 240. It's not your regular inline tight end. There's a
Mhm.
picture and compared to Gronk. It's incredible how big Gronk is, but that's also one of a kind tight end right there. So it's a bit
Mhm.
different. It's a different type of player. So really interested to see how the Raiders use him, especially with a two tight end set with Michael Mayer there. So
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
cool.
He's just got the whole package. I mean,
Yeah.
blocking. He's got speed for, especially with the kind of the move that tight ends have made with a lot less blocking. Even though he can still do it, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, he was
And so
dogging
much
people at
more.
Georgia. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was destroying
absolutely.
people. I
Yeah.
mean, he has
But
the size. He can do everything. It's just
yeah,
that he's not your typical 6'8", 280 guy. So it's
mhm,
just
And I
it's gonna
don't
be
think
slightly
exactly.
different.
And I don't think if the Raiders have a brain that they'll use him in that way. I think he'll play a lot in the wing. I think he'll play a lot in the slot. I think they'll get him in motion a lot to create mismatches because he truly is a mismatch in the receiving game for
Truly.
anyone. pretty
Anyone,
much.
yeah, I mean,
And
he's
he's
so
got speed.
quick.
He has
Yeah.
wheels. The one
Yeah.
I think he ran like a slant against South Carolina, took it to the house.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago. This past season against Auburn, just absolutely splits the defenders, trucks them off, and just has a nose for the end zone. He's an animal.
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
Who is the next like offensive talent picked after that? Would that be Brian Thomas? I have nothing to say. I think that was the next like receiver type pick. Uh, really nothing to say much about Brian Thomas. I know he goes to the Jaguars. They just got Gabe Davis. They still have Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
They got rid of Calvin. They got rid of Zay Jones recently. Zay Jones just signed somewhere else. I saw today. I don't know where.
Yeah, I can't remember
But
where either.
yeah, just another LSU wide receiver. I mean, certain track records, LSU receivers are pretty good. Turns out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we'll have to see
for
what he
sure.
does. I don't know if he's a first round fantasy type of pick. In a our league or anything like that. But hey, might be the guy. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of Thomas's tape. I just kind of remember watching him when I watched LSU. And I mean, I think he's a solid player. I think he's got potential to be a solid, maybe third receiver, maybe even second receiver. I don't think he really has number one potential, but maybe he could prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough to stand out on a team like that when you have Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. So.
that's the thing. So like I would
Yeah.
need to watch like a closer individual tape of his, like watch what he does play to play and like how often he gets open, stuff like that. So I need a closer look into Brian Thomas before I make like a real opinion on him.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But about this, Xavier, is it Thomas, the guy that broke the 40 record this year? I didn't see
Worthy.
that
Xavier
coming.
Worthy.
Xavier Worthy, that's right.
Yeah.
Never saw that coming, honestly. I was at work, I don't got a lot of service at work since I'm out there in the ocean, and I saw this guy ran a 4.21. I was like, no way, man. I didn't know the guy was that fast. So
No.
yeah, he goes to a great situation. Certainly with a team that knows how to use it. I mean, that team has nothing but pure speed right now. Especially after signing Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can utilize him the correct way. But I mean, last time we saw a guy, that fast, John Ross, obviously. I mean, I don't know a direct comparison like that, but just because you have speed doesn't mean you're built for the NFL. You can't teach speed, but you can teach everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Certainly after watching, I think I saw a tape of him at rookie training camp, and he dropped the wide open pass. So it might be seeing another Kadarius Toney there. Who knows?
And I think
God.
that's a great comparison because this dude can run a crisp route. I've seen it on tape over and over. He runs a very crisp route. He obviously has blazing speed, but he has inconsistent hands. And you can't trust a guy like that. You got to hope he works out and fixes. It's not like he has like major drop issues, but he'll drop a big one every now and then. And really, if you're not on a team where you're the guy, which he could be because it's not a very deep receiving core necessarily, but when you're not on a team like that and you can't make those big plays, it doesn't take long for them to try to find someone else. Is basically what I'm trying to say, because the Buccaneers tried to turn Scotty Miller into their big play guy, and he was gonna be like their number 3, like set number 3. He couldn't catch the damn ball, and it just never worked out. That's why he had to go to the Falcons, and he couldn't get playing time there either, because the dude can't catch the ball. And if Xavier Worthy has those issues at the NFL, it's gonna be another John Ross, Scotty Miller situation. But I hope it doesn't work out like that, because I will say, like I said, his route running much better than both of those guys. Much, much better. Like Scotty Miller and John Ross don't touch this dude's route running, but he's got to catch the football.
Yeah. Couple of comments on that. Definitely a wide receiver has to be able to receive the ball in the NFL. I would definitely agree on that. Maybe
that's pretty important.
It's part of the job.
Might be the most important job for that position. But I do want to say, if you want to make me hate a guy in the NFL, please compare him to Kadarius Toney, because he pisses me off so much on my fantasy team. I should have traded him the day after the combine. Trash.
He's so good with the football in his hands. It's just hard to get the damn football in his hands.
He has to get there somehow.
Yeah,
I know.
I watched the one. I was like, oh yeah, Kadarius Toney. Like I'm so excited. I turn on the Chiefs game. I'm like, woo, here we go, baby. And then it's like drop pass, drop pass, drop pass. And I turn it off. I'm like,
Line up off
what am I
sides.
doing? Yeah,
Yeah.
why? He's so trash.
Yeah.
Huh. That's a not a hot take for me. That'll get me going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a great fast receiver that goes to a great situation, especially with Andy Reid, his history, having a player like Deshaun Jackson with the Eagles. I mean, look at him. He was an animal. He can catch, but we'll see what they can scheme up with a guy like that. Another guy that went, though, in the first round, very last pick, the Panthers must have saw something in this guy. And you're talking about country boy Xavier Legette. I don't know if you've heard this guy talk, but Jesus Christ, I would never imagine in a million years that he sounds like that. It's so funny. But you're looking at a guy that's like 6'1", absolute tank. I think he's like 220, 230. You know, they were comparing him to like DK Metcalf or Debo with his athleticism. So I think he was a late developer, as in like maybe like finally getting stats and stuff like that. So it'll be really interesting to see what he can do in Carolina, because they were in dire need of help. They definitely needed some offensive weapons over there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trading DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm a big Bryce Young believer. As soon as he gets some talent around him and a decent line, I think he's going to be a great quarterback. But I like the pick, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really watching much South Carolina this year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, me
So
neither.
I need to see more on Xavier Leggett. I know he's got the tools, like you said, to be a stud physically. And I mean, that's kind of, to be honest, that's all I really knew about DK coming out too. So I mean, who knows? It could work out the same way. And I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people kind of felt that way about DK. Like he's just going to be an athletic freak, but he's not going to be
Yeah, and it's
consistent.
funny, especially something like that. You see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside get drafted over DK. I mean, DK was a physical freak, and then
Yeah,
Arcega-Whiteside's played however many games he's had 7 catches
yeah,
for 100 yards, and then it's just funny that people skip over people like that. But I
100%.
think Xavier Legette definitely has potential, so it'll be interesting to see if he can develop, especially for a hometown guy like that played in South Carolina and staying around the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll jump over to the
That
second
being
round.
said,
Barrett, do you have anything you wanted to say about him?
while you're jumping over to the second round, with us all being Georgia fans, I do want to make sure we hit Lad
Exactly what I was
McConkey.
going to say. We'll jump over to Lad McConkey because we definitely got to talk about Lad.
Yeah.
Lad
Definitely,
goes just to another good situation to Justin Herbert being his quarterback, stuff like that. Just an absolute animal. Showed up every big moment whenever you needed him for Georgia. Surprised he didn't end up in the first round. I mean, he could have went. I would. You think the Chiefs would have drafted someone like that, someone that's just an absolute dog, shows up every moment, has everything you want, gets the separation, has the speed. I mean, I even remember watching the Kentucky game this past year. He comes in, he's injured, he can barely run. They don't have him on first or second down, but every third down catch in that game, which was a big game for us too, by the way, just made every catch he needed to do. All throughout his career, he did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's gonna be awesome to see him do. He's a great sideline catcher. It's exactly what Justin Herbert needs, someone that can zip the ball to him. So I think that's gonna be amazing for him to go there. I can't wait to watch what he does.
I couldn't agree
100%.
more. I feel like
100%.
he's in a great situation.
Yeah, I've been saying he could, if everything works out, he could potentially be the steal of fantasy drafts this season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like
Well,
not even dynasty, like redraft leagues. He could be a late round steal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's Justin Herbert's Wes Welker / Julian Edelman. I mean, that's just the next go-to guy.
I was literally like that. That's the two people that first come to mind whenever I start comparing him. Like I was reading off this app, and it was like comparing him to Eddie Royal, and I was like, the first two people that came to my mind were Wes Welker and Julian Edelman. Those little slot guy that can just move laterally, like you said, so clutch. He just shows up at the right time. How do you not see that? And you're like, I want the guy that's gonna. The moment isn't too big for him. They're the right fit for the moment. That's the guy that you want to see. And not the most like X jump ball wide receiver, not gonna be flashy, but he will get the job done. I'm excited to see what he can do with Justin Herbert, especially with this Keenan Allen leaving. I feel like he's stepping up in a bigger role because of that. I'm interested to see what all will happen.
They need more help than just Quentin Johnston, because Quentin Johnston would
For sure
blow games, man. There's like 2 or 3 different catches he just dropped it and just couldn't finish, and lost games for him. So it's great to see he went there, and maybe even Quentin Johnston even develops into an actual receiver this year too. So be good for Justin Herbert. Be Chargers
Yeah.
comeback with a new head coach, especially.
Yeah, quick player comp that just popped into my head for Lad. What do we think about Emmanuel Sanders as a player comp for Lad
That's pretty
McConkey?
good. I mean, that's exactly when I started getting into fantasy, man. Emmanuel Sanders is a small, not small,
Smaller
but
receiver, but he
yeah,
can do it
small
all.
receiver, but is all over the field when you need him, where you need him, and he's just
Yeah,
always there. So I think that's a great example for someone like Lad McConkey,
For
yeah,
sure. I think,
especially.
yeah, he fits perfect.
especially.
It's a good
And
representation. I loved.
sorry, I
You
was
got
about
to
to say
go.
we'll talk about another Georgia receiver. Didn't play this past season, but AD Mitchell.
AD, yeah,
AD Mitchell had a great combine. Just absolute dog of receiver, especially us being Georgia fans. We know how well he is. Every national championship he played for us, he caught a touchdown pass. Even this past season in the playoffs, he's catching jump balls against Washington. Uh, Even like that last little segment before Texas could have a comeback. It's like fourth down. Hey, we threw it up to our best receiver, AD. And not
Mhm.
only that, he goes to, I think, a good situation, especially for Anthony Richardson, still kind of being a rookie since he didn't play too much last year. Gets a really good weapon, just a great receiver. I mean, I think he has potential to turn into number one. And it's surprising that he even,
Definitely.
fell that late, because I thought he was
Mhm.
just so good. And it's insane to see him just go, be that, he was a 10th wide receiver taken. It's insane.
agreed.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I was
100% with
gonna
you.
for sure. That's what I was gonna say is like fall into the second round in this draft as a wide receiver specifically is not like the talent was just so deep
It
that
is super deep. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
great
not,
players are going to
yeah.
get picked in the second round, like I just said, especially at that wide receiver position.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, another, unless Sky, do you want to say something else about him? No.
Oh no,
Oh,
no.
I thought you were about to say something. Well,
Yeah.
another second round receiver. We've skipped the guy that got selected in the first round or sorry, the second round, and that's Keon Coleman, the Florida
Keon,
State wide receiver.
yeah,
Absolute hoss of a guy. I think he's like 6'4". He's known as a jump ball type of receiver. Projected first round before the season began. He was in conversations like Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors and Roman Dunze, but ends up falling due to lack of stats, lack of separation. Didn't really have as good a season as expected, but goes to a great situation to the Bills. You have Josh Allen. You can slide in right into that role as a number one receiver, but I'm seeing more of like possibly a Quentin Johnson-esque type of situation where you want the production out of there, but the guy needs time to develop. But it'll
Mm-hmm.
be interesting to see what he can do there, especially with Curtis Samuel playing on the other side of the ball and how good that offense can really be for the Bills.
Yeah. He's got a lot of God given ability. He just,
Yeah,
like in terms of size, jump ball, um, like you just said, what he's really going to have to improve on is separation because as we were just talking about earlier, like the way that NFL DBs their schemes are, that's it's so hard to get open, especially if you don't have that agility or that expert route running.
yeah, 100%. I'm right there with y'all. Very raw. We don't know what he's gonna be. We know what he is, and that's a talented guy who hasn't put up the stats that he should be yet. Maybe that'll change when he enters the league. That happens for some guys. The light turns on for them when they get into the league and they start using that talent. But like you said, Cole, I think it's going to take some time for him to develop into that if that's what he becomes. I don't think that's
definitely.
going to
But
happen right
he's
off the
definitely,
bat.
yeah, definitely worthy of a definitely good dynasty pick. He can definitely be
Mm-hmm.
that guy eventually, but not right away. Definitely not right away. Uh, I've noticed we haven't talked about any running backs though. No, there were no running backs really worthy of
Yeah.
talking.
Before we move on, we got to cover at least a running
Yeah,
back or two for
I think
sure.
Brandon Jones was the first running back selected. He went to the Panthers. There was a couple
Yeah,
other
I think
guys.
that's
I think
right.
the next guy went to the Cardinals. You have Audric Estimate. He went to the Broncos. And there's a couple other guys here and there. They all go into a situation where it's committee. One guy can step up or something like that. But I'm not really seeing any, eye busting potential. Besides, I got one guy I would love to talk about though. Anything else to say about some of the guys we just mentioned before I say this guy?
Nah, not
No.
much to talk about with the running backs in this
No.
Yeah,
class.
exactly. Exactly. No one's too
Yeah.
crazy. No one's too good. But what if I told you this? All right, listen to this guy. So there's one guy on YouTube, and this is like where I get a lot of my sleeper picks, stuff like this. This guy's
Sure.
name's Brett Coleman on YouTube. I watched the video, and he talked about this one player, and this player's name is Isaac Garindo. All right, let me tell you something about him. He's a fourth round running back, played out of Louisville. He's like 6'3", 231 pounds, and runs a 4.33. Used to be a wide receiver, transferred over the running back. Didn't really have a lot of stats because, he, like I said, he transferred from wide receiver to running back, but goes to probably the best situation. He got drafted to the 49ers. So, I mean, with recent success there, they have guys like Raheem Mostert, all these other fast guys. I mean, obviously they have Christian McCaffrey now, but you have a former wide receiver turn running back going to a situation where you have a guy that can catch the ball in the backfield, super fast. I mean, it's insane to think that, the 49ers even got a guy like that, because I think he can just have amazing potential there. And you're looking at like a, fourth round type of pick guy in a dynasty draft too. So I think he's a really good sleeper.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I actually just recently watched a video about Garindo, and dude is like athletically and physically a monster. Like,
Yeah.
what is he, like 6', 6'1", but he weighs 225 pounds and he runs a 4.33. Like,
I know, right? It's crazy
that's
speed.
they were
Mike
saying
Conley.
in the video he's in the 99th percentile in terms of speed at that weight,
Yes. Yeah. I was
which is
hearing
insane.
he doesn't really show his speed on tape. But especially, you get NFL, you can develop. There's a lot of guys that were never really that guy in college that steps in the NFL and we're like, hey, this guy barely played running back. What now he's about to be a beast. He's about to carry the ball, 10, 15 times a game. So
Yeah.
it's really great to see that he went there, especially with Christian McCaffrey getting up there in age. Hate to say it, but he might even steal some carries depending on how good he is at camp this year and how well he develops.
Yeah, a couple things to say on him. Whenever y'all are mentioning his size, the first guy that comes to mind, especially at running back, is Derrick Henry. And then you tell me that he is a former wide receiver, changed to running back, and that means he has the entire package. Maybe a little bit of what Derrick Henry is missing.
And a
I don't know.
4.33.
Yeah, fast.
Derrick Henry was what, like a 4.45, 4.5 ish,
Yeah. That
somewhere
is
in there.
that is dangerous. And especially what else I wanted to say is like the people he's going to be able to learn behind too. Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey is going to be, yeah, that's what I meant, obviously. But the way that he's going to be able to learn from more than arguably the best running back in the NFL. I mean,
and the most creative and arguably probably the best to run play caller in the NFL in Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, certainly. I
The
think
dude is
he's always had like a
beautifully
top 10
crafted.
rushing offense, even for the Falcons when he was our offensive coordinator there. So it's going to be really exciting to see what he can do.
Yeah,
I am excited.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep. Another sleeper though I got written down here. I think it was a 6th-round wide receiver. So this guy came out of Virginia, and let me read you his stats. His stats are insane. I didn't even know this guy was like doing anything in college football until I read about him. 110 catches, 1,400 yards, and I think he had like some. Oh, my computer slipped.
No worries.
I think he had some like crazy like percentage of his team's yards. This is Malik Washington. He goes to the Dolphins actually, and I was really excited for him to go there when I saw he did that because like, oh, awesome, goes to another great, offensive coordinator guy that can scheme up plays for him. I mean, the guy was just an absolute beast. He won a lot of contested catches over the middle. I'm stealing his words from the same guy I was talking about earlier. But just really good situation. But it does suck because you see Odell go there. But man, does he have a chance to learn from some great wide receivers and hopefully develop into just this next slot beast?
Yeah. 100%.
So just another, deep sleeper there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like you just said,
I like it.
You didn't
like
hear about him.
picks.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, I love that first one. I never heard of him, and he sounds like he is going to be
exactly.
A force to be reckoned with.
I hope when it comes to our draft that you forget his name and no one else watches this video. I hope they do watch it, but don't get eyes.
Don't listen to this part. Just go back in time and hit mute.
Exactly.
Well, boys, if y'all don't have any more to talk about, because Cole, I know you were saying you were going to end on those sleepers. We're going to go ahead and move on. That was super fun. Love talking football with y'all.
There's still so many good players to talk about, man. It's insane. This was a really good draft, especially offensively. So it'll be interesting. I can't wait to watch this season, man. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. And can I also
enjoyed the hell out of that segment.
And can I also just say, Cole, shout out to you for bringing your shit with you, man. You didn't just throw out names. You had arguments and reasons for all of it. And I love it. Can't compare.
I mean, I've driving by yourself for the past month. The only thing you listen to is the draft. pre-draft, post-draft, the draft. So it's all been that lately. It's all been my mind. So
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, you definitely brought it. I fed off that
Oh.
energy and I learned a lot. So
yeah, well, thanks, man. Thanks, I appreciate it. I definitely did my research before I came out here. So
Yes, sir.
For
Well,
sure.
on that note, we are going to go ahead and move on